So let's get into it. This happened today. Now, this is somewhat connected to the story that I was going to do. And this all happened unknowing, but announced to me that this was going to happen. It all happened today. But this is not the story I was going to do. But this goes to further show the problem we have here in America with this crisis that we're facing, this water crisis. So what happens in Florida? It says on the verge of collapse, Florida could cause a catastrophic event. Hundreds of residents in Manatee County, Florida were ordered to evacuate their homes over Easter weekend as officials feared that a water waste pond could collapse at any time on Saturday. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis declared a state of emergency for the area. This happened as I'm putting together this other story for you. And like I say, this is all connected and tied into the environment with the question that's asked, is the government trying to kill us in this country? What the hell is going on with our elected officials? How can this possibly be happening in what is supposed to be the greatest country the face of the earth has ever seen? How are we having a water crisis that no other nation brung upon us? This didn't happen because we were forced to do it, or we were at war, or we did this to ourselves. So Florida residents are being forced to evacuate because for some reason, this story goes on to say that for the past several decades, they've been letting these companies put their waste into this man-made retention pond that they made. That is now the chickens are coming home to roost. It says county officials said that the pond is located at a former Piney Point phosphate processing plant and has a significant leak. Public Safety Department told people near the plant to evacuate due to an imminent uncontrolled release of wastewater. This is all happening in Florida as we speak. It says a portion of the contaminated wall at the leak site shifted literally, said Manatee Director of Public Safety Jake Soar, signifying that structural collapse could occur at any time. It says, as of Monday afternoon, the leaks have not been fixed according to officials. Thermal imaging from a drone on Sunday night identified a number of sites in one concentrated area in the eastern wall of the South Pond, where temperatures indicated that the water was seeping through. The most visible breach continues to be the one in the southeast corner. So now you have multiple breaches of this damn retention pond, and this pond is full of radioactive waste. This ain't just any waste. This ain't just your normal run-of-the-mill type waste. This is actual radioactive waste that is building in this that's been sitting and accumulating in this retention pond that they have just let sit there. And as I read the story, you're going to see how crazy it is that Ron DeSantis, who is now the governor, and every previous governor before him, but the buck stops with him. Because again, doing the same thing and expecting different results is the definition of insanity. Why in the hell would you be the governor, the head of a state? Why would anyone, any government official be the head of anything and allow something like this to build and fester until you have the inevitable happening of the shit springing a leak and falling completely apart, right? I don't, at this point, no longer think that this is incompetence. They just really don't care about you or me. And you know they don't care about us because obviously they don't even care about themselves, right? These people also have to live amongst these toxins. They're sold out their selves, sold their souls to the devil, they're sold their children's souls, they're sold their loved ones and those closest to them. You know, if they sold their selves out to the devil, they don't mind if we go and dance with the devil. They're going to take us all with them. At this point, they have sold out the country. And I guess they figure, hell, even if we only live 50 years or we live 60 years, so what if the life expectancy rate is going down in the country, right? We're going to have a ball. Even if we live 50 or 60 years and we bring everybody else's life expectancy down to 35, you know, with them 60 years we have, we're going to maximize and max it out. Better to die young and have, you know, lived a life than to live old and suffer. I don't even know what their logic is. I'm just trying to throw shit out there at the wall. I don't understand it. How could you let this possibly happen if you know that you also are going to be affected because you and your children and your family, unless these people have homes or these people have some type of something that I don't know about. But I'm pretty sure that Governor DeSantis, the governor of Florida, has to live in Florida. Even if he doesn't have to live in that exact spot. If you keep contaminating shit and keep allowing poison to seep into everything, eventually it's going to also come for you. It says the water from the seepage remains contained on site in the site's line stormwater management. FLDEP said the uncontrolled discharge to Piney Creek has ceased. Officials are continuing their controlled discharge of water at a rate of more than 35 million gallons per day. And guess where the hell they're discharging it into? When they say controlled discharge, this means they are willfully, knowingly taking the water, the radioactive wastewater out of this man-made retention pond that was bound to fail from the beginning, and they're dumping 35 million gallons a day into Tampa Bay. I'm going to say that again. They're taking the water out the man-made retention pond and dumping 35 million gallons a day into Tampa Bay. So instead of affecting a few hundred people, now we can affect millions of people. Instead of having to evacuate and shut down and potentially kill a whole damn town, now we can get ahead and try to work on just killing and doing the whole city. What about what about the marine life, the fish, and everybody who has to eat out of, everybody who eats the marine life? This is what I'm saying. Some people are not leaders. And you could tell Governor DeSantis from Florida, Republican governor, you can tell he has a mental problem. You could look in his face and see that there's something going on with him, right? If he wasn't a governor, you just knew him as a regular person on the streets, you would know that he has some type of mental deficiency. You can see it in his features. I'm just saying, man. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying. This is going to corroborate what I've been thinking the whole time, that this guy, you're not supposed to say the R word, so what's another word for it? This guy is cuckoo for fucking Cocoa Puffs, man. Okay, it says Manatee County Public Officials Department initially sent out emergency evacuations notices on Friday for those who were within a half a mile of Piney Point. By 11 a.m. Saturday, evacuation orders were extended to people within 1 mile north of the reservoir stacks of phosphogypsum, a fertilizer waste product, and those within a half a mile of the south of the site. Surrounding stretches of highway were also closed off to traffic. Mandatory evacuations were extended an additional half a mile west and 1 mile southwest of the site on Saturday evening. Manatee County Public Safety Department said that 316 households were within full evacuation area. So this is 316 houses. Let's just say if there was maybe 3 to 4, let's say 3 to 4 people per house, you're looking at close to 1,000 people that's having to be evacuated. And I don't know if them people are ever going to be able to come back home. And even if you could come back home, if this breach goes full surface and this contaminated, they keep trying to say lightly contaminated water too. When you look at the reports and you hear it being publicized on like local news, like, cable news, they keep downplaying it like, lightly contaminated. No, this is radioactive waste. This is like Hills Have Eyes in Florida now, right? This is radioactive waste. It says despite the mandatory evacuations for local residents, officials have not fully evacuated Manatee County Jail, which lies within the evacuation zone. On Sunday, the Manatee County Sheriff's Office told CBS News it would move 345 of the more than 1,000 inmates to an undisclosed but secure location as part of its effort to free up bed space for the remaining 721 inmates on the upper level of the jail. So you got them evacuating homes, you got the jails are in jeopardy. And of course, you know how they treat the people. I don't know if anybody's ever been to jail, but you can count on that they're not going to take care of those people, right? Those people are under high risk right now. I would say level code red risk. If you got anybody in this county that is in jail for any reason, you could be in jail for anything. And Governor DeSantis has made this a state of emergency. So I'm pretty sure everything is slowed down and closed down. So you might be locked up for a bullcrapping traffic charge or anything, and it's a good chance that you're just sitting in there now because your court dates are going to be canceled till they handle this crisis, which is putting you in jeopardy. So my prayers go out to everybody in the county, but especially the people that's in the jail. We've all had family members, children, loved ones, husbands, wives that at some point maybe went and did some time in at least the county jail, even if you haven't been to prison, right? We are all familiar with people. We live in the biggest incarceration nation in the world. Everybody's pretty much been touched by the incarceration system, right? Even if you have not been there personally, it's a good chance that you know somebody who's close to you who has. Now imagine that being your son or your daughter locked in these county jails for some bullcrapping charge. And here they go talking about something. They got everything under control. They're going to move people to the upper level. What about if this radioactive waste leaks? And what about the drinking water and everything else? The water you wash your clothes with, the water you brush your teeth with, the water you have to cook with. And not just the inmates, but then you have, that's why I say COs and correctional officers and like wardens of jails. They're not bright. These are some of the dumbest people in society, right? They get into their positions through passed down through generations, passed down through who they know, maybe who their father was. Nothing to do with qualifications. This is how most of these government officials land into the positions they land into. It has nothing to do with leadership, nothing to do with them being qualified. It's just all about because they're in bed or know somebody that has put them in a position that they should not be in. These are the type of situations you can count on and be sure to arrive time and time again. Right? I'm almost 100% sure that we have the dumbest people in the country in charge and actually running the country at this point. What other explanation can you give for this foolery? It says SOAR told reporters at a press conference on Monday afternoon that the inmates have been transported and are safe. State Representative Michelle Rayner Gooseby tweeted that she has spoken to the sheriff and said that he has assured her that there has been a plan in place to make sure the inmates of the jail are protected and evacuated safely. I am good with the plan, she added. If she's good with the plan, and if the sheriff told her that, then I am 100% sure that plan is fucked up. On Monday morning, Manatee County Schools announced that school buses transportation within the evacuation zone has been suspended. Students from 6 schools are impacted by the situation, according to the list of impact buses. At a press conference Monday morning, DeSantis said that officials are pumping out 33 million gallons of water per day from the pond and that the water is not radioactive. Lie. Okay, that's a total damn lie. It's the opposite. It's the exact opposite of what this. You can't use the R word, but the R word is saying. It says, although another official added, we want to see leaving the site. The primary concern, DeSantis said, is the nutrient makeup of the water, which contains metals. Reports on water samples should be available in the coming days. Okay, like I say, I have no faith in nothing DeSantis is going to do, or if he's corrupted, completely corrupted. He's probably one of the most corrupted politicians in the country. He's definitely breaking the top 10. Okay, I got DeSantis in my top 10. You know how we all got our top 10s? I just did a story on DMX and I said how he was in my top 10. Maybe, questionably, could be my top 5 greatest rappers of all time. Definitely he's got his Hell is Hot album. His first album is in my top 5 albums of all time. Well, I'm going to say this guy is in the top 10 of most corrupt politicians in the country. You know he got caught covering up COVID, right? The doctor that exposed him for covering up COVID, fudging all the numbers and lying about every damn thing. And he's so corrupt that even though that happened, he sent a damn SWAT team to her house, a militia, and she went to jail. And then she wound up catching COVID. This guy is completely corrupted. So it's the opposite of everything he just said. The wastewater is radioactive. Right? All reports are saying. Everybody knows that this is wastewater, it is radioactive wastewater. And he's going to say, the wastewater that we're dumping into Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, people, is not radioactive. But the metals are concerning. Get the fuck out of here, man. It says officials said at a meeting that the greatest threat for the time being is flooding. Even after days of pumping water out of the reservoir, there are still roughly 3,450 million gallons of wastewater that could suddenly be unleashed. If the reservoir were to fully collapse, one model shows that the area could see up to 20-foot wall of water within minutes. Phosphate gypsum is the radioactive waste left over from processing phosphate ore into a state that can be used for fertilizer, according to the Center of Biological Diversity. Okay, this is in quotes, and I quote this. It says, phosphogypsum is the radioactive waste left over from processing phosphate ore into a state that it can be used for fertilizer. Now, just in the statement before, Ron DeSantis says it's not radioactive, right? Right here it says, and the water is not radioactive. That is a quote directly from dumbass, the R word. And here we go in the next paragraph from a scientist, I would take it. Yeah, from a scientist, it says the radioactive waste. You can't trust these people. These people, man, you do not want to put your faith in your children's lives in these people who run this country and govern this country hands. And we need to get these fuckers out of office. That's going to be our only hope. We're going to lose the country. We're not going to lose the country to what everybody else thinks. We're going to lose the country to shit like this. If you don't have clean drinking water, man, it's game over. You don't need no Russia or no China or no North Korea or none of the big bad boogeymans to come and get us. Without clean drinking water, it's a wrap. That's all she wrote. I don't give a damn how much the American dollar's worth. I don't care what the hell we got. I don't care what type of skyscrapers and what type of economy we got. You take away the clean drinking water and nothing else matters. It says, in addition to the high concentrations of radioactive materials, phosphogypsum as processed wastewater can also contain carcinogens and heavy toxic metals. Carcinogens are basically things that cause cancer. For every ton of phosphoric acid produced, the fertilizer industry creates 5 tons of radioactive phosphogypsum waste, which is stored in mountainous stacks hundreds of acres wide and hundreds of feet tall. These people are stupid. Stupid, man. Profit over everything. That's what they are. Profit over everything. It don't matter. No clean drinking water. Hey, we made a buck. What good is any of your money gonna do you when the whole country is poisoned? Right? What good is it gonna do you when everybody's sick, feeble, malnourished, and dying? Who's gonna buy your shit then? Who's gonna buy your products? It says the water is currently being pumped out by officials to avoid full collapse. It is a mix of seawater from local dredge project, stormwater, and rain runoff. The water has not been treated. The water meets water quality standards for marine waters, which the expectation of pH, total phosphorus, total nitrogen, and total ammonia nitrogen, the state said in a statement, meet marine quality standards. If in one breath they telling you that this shit is poison, stacked with carcinogens, and is radioactive, and you mean to tell, this is why I don't trust the EPA, the FDA, or none of the other none of the DA, none of the A's. I don't trust them. Like, you wanted people to have faith in our FDA and our CDC and our EPA and have faith and trust in vaccines and anything these people say. Are you kidding me? The hell do you mean? On one hand, the water is poison and radioactive and contains cancerous agents. And then on the other hand, it's perfectly say, hey, it meets the standards for the marine waters where we all eat from. Marine life is what I love eating seafood. Right? This is a big portion of a lot of our diets because we think we being healthy. But these some bitches are dumping the hills have eyes into the bay where we get our marine life from. I just really don't understand. It says the water meets water quality standards for marine waters with the exception of the pH, total phosphorus, total nitrogen, and total ammonia nitrogen. The state said in a statement it's slightly acidic, but not at the levels expected to be of concern, nor is it expected to be toxic. Slightly acidic. I'm gonna go on further because it's the same thing where they keep contradicting themselves. This is they double talk. This is why nobody want to take the goddamn vaccine and nobody trusts anything these people say. Nobody has any faith in the government. Right? If you say do A, the government says do A, literally everybody's gonna fucking do B. Nobody has any faith in you. I'm going to tell you, you see in this one paragraph, it says the water is slightly acidic and the pH is off, but it meets the marine quality standards and it's okay for the marine life. We not worried. Don't worry. Everybody, hey, don't look over here. Squirrel, squirrel, squirrel. Okay, now I'm going to keep on reading. It says Florida Commissioner of Agriculture Nikki Fried wrote in a letter to DeSantis on Saturday urging the emergency session for the Florida cabinet to discuss the situation. She wrote that the leaking water is contaminated. It says for more than 50 years, this Central Florida mining operation has caused numerous human and health and environmental disasters and incidents. Fried wrote, there have been numerous well-documented failures which continue today of the property's reservoir liner, including leaks, poor welds, holes, cracks, and weaknesses that existed prior to the purchase of the current owner, HRK Holdings, and has exacerbated ever since. It goes on to say on Sunday, Hopes corroborated that issues with the Piney Point facility have persisted for decades, while the governor on Sunday blamed the situation on HRK Holdings, the company that owns the site, and said it will be held accountable for the incident. Hopes indicated that the latest leak is the result of officials not acting on past failures. And I would say Hopes is right. Basically what she's getting at is, hey, this has been a problem. You trying to act like it's a problem now. This new company is overseeing this retention pond that has been there for the past 3 or 4 decades. No, this has been a problem. The problem started when you start building the damn pond and putting radioactive wastewater in it. Because eventually, what the hell are you going? The water was too toxic back then for them to dump into any type of water sources or waterways or the Tampa Bay or any other river or ocean for that matter. So they had nothing to do with this goddamn wastewater. So what they've been doing for the past several decades is just storing it in this pond. That's why you have 380 million gallons of some crazy ass number of radioactive wastewater, because the reason they had to do that is because everybody knows the water could not go into any other water source because it would contaminate it. So now for them to act like, well, we could go ahead and dump it in the Tampa Bay and it's not going to affect marine life. Everybody with a sane mind like me, you're not going to hear anybody else on social media say this or any other cable news show, right? If you got a sane mind like me though, what's the first question you would ask yourself? Well, if the water ain't radioactive and it's safe for marine life, and the whole time you could have had dumped it into the ocean or the rivers, why the hell ain't you been doing so? And why did you build this dumbass pond that's now springing leaks everywhere and that's about to jeopardize a whole damn town? That don't make no goddamn sense. If Ron DeSantis would have us believe him that it's not a big problem and it's safe enough to dump into the Tampa Bay now because besides the acidity, which is a little acidic, it's safe, it's okay for marine life standards. Well, why the hell haven't you just been dumping it there the whole time? What the hell was the purpose of building the retention pond, saying that you had nowhere to put this radioactive wastewater because it was too poisonous and it was too contaminated? They literally had to build a damn man-made pond to start storing almost a 500 million damn gallons of it up until this point because you had nowhere else or nothing else to do with it. It makes no logical sense. So that's how you know everything that was said previously in this goddamn article by Ron DeSantis was a goddamn lie, and he should be ran out of office. After the way he handled COVID, and now with this, I can't understand if Florida votes for him again. You get what the hell you deserve. Should nobody be voting for this cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs ass dude? You can look at his face and see that the man is not mentally stable, man. The man has mental incapacities. He's mentally disabled, and you have a mentally disabled man running. You can look at his face, look at his features, and see this it's not rocket science. Okay, if he's telling the truth that the water is not contaminated and it's not radioactive and it's perfectly fine for marine life and nothing to see here, don't worry about it, then you only have to ask yourself to make a logical point, whether you're Republican or Democrat, as well. If that is the case, why the hell ain't you just been dumping it in the goddamn Tampa Bay or any other water? Why you just ain't been dumping it, bro? Why let it sit for decades and build up to 500 million damn gallons and then cause this major issue? Why build a retention pond that's man-made when you could have it's safe. It's safe for the marine anyway, but marine life. No, you ain't put it into the Tampa Bay and you ain't put it into the river or the oceans, and the government, who is supposed to be like the FDA and our regulatory agencies, told your ass you couldn't do it, and thus for the last several decades, you've had the shit sitting there building and stacking, but now that it's about to breach and all of it is about to come crashing down, all of a sudden now it's perfectly safe to put into the drinking water. The Tampa Bay supplies drinking water for millions of goddamn people. So this is what I'm saying. When you got a problem now that affected 316 households, then you got the inmates. So let's just say you got about 2,000 people that's going to be affected by this, or that's immediately affected by this. But now you're going to take that and start dumping it into the Tampa Bay. So instead of having to worry about those 316 households and those 2,000 people, including the people in the jails and any other people that's going to be surrounded, let's just go high on it and say, let's give it 5,000 people. Instead of having to worry about the 5,000 people being affected from whatever's going to happen with this situation, you're going to go start pumping it and dumping it into the bay and potentially affect not only all the marine animals that are in that area, but also millions of goddamn people. Only a goddamn R word would go from a problem that may affect 5,000 people And immediately within a few days, because you're starting to dump it already now, 38 million gallons a day, whatever the number is, go from that to affecting millions of people. So right here in real time, you are seeing poor decision making, and you can see that this man is mentally at a disadvantage. Nobody in their right mind would do that. And whoever is advising him also needs to be ran the hell out of town. And I just feel sorry for the people of Florida right now, because this is a catastrophe, man. It says the control release is working, he said. The breach release is traveling in the direction we anticipated and planned for it to. So we believe that probably by Tuesday we're going to be in a much better position, and the risk level will have decreased significantly with the governor's assets, because they're going to be in a much better position, and the breach is going exactly where they planned for it. I mean, this whole plan for them is going exactly how they anticipated. The water's traveling exactly where they want to, and that's right into goddamn Tampa Bay. It says right here, the breach release is traveling in the direction we have anticipated and planned for it to. Into the bay. Man, at this point, man, I'm done. I'm done, man. I'm done. For anybody who subscribes to this shit, I'm done, man. It says they discovered the Southside State Stack had increased in conductivity, and the acidity of the water, which is normally around 4.6, had dropped to about 3.5, which indicated a issue. I'd say a big goddamn issue. And ain't no way this water's safe for no damn marine life or no other life. You talking about, and you know it's gonna be lower than what they gonna say. It's gonna be lower than that. I'm guaranteeing that shit. I mean, a pH of 3.5, you know how acidic that is? And I know it's lower than that. It's probably 2 points lower. And shit's probably more like a 1.5. It's radio goddamn active, for Christ's sake. Of course it's going to affect the marine life and anybody else who comes in contact with that poison. Wait till I do this next story. You need to check out the next video, because this video is actually going a little longer than I thought. So it's getting me riled up. Shit like this gets me riled up, man, because it's happening all around the country. But the next story is going to show you the problem across America. If you thought this shit was just for Florida, you were sorely mistaken. It says after a few days, the water chemistry had not improved, and water flows were increasing from about 120 gallons per minute to more than 400 gallons per minute in less than a 48-hour period, Baraf said. Do you know how much goddamn wastewater that is starting to leak? It says last Saturday night, the flow rates increased to rates that I could not even estimate to you. It's more than that. It's so much they don't even know at this point. What he said is at rates I couldn't even begin to estimate. It's just simply a fancy way of saying I have no goddamn idea how much water is coming out of this goddamn retention pond. But it's a goddamn lot. With all the scientific equipment and everything we got, there's no way to even start to goddamn fathom what's happening. It's a catastrophe, man. And it's a catastrophe that could have been avoided that these people. It says I spent most of my days and nights consistently monitoring all aspects of the JIPSAC system and identifying failure points within it. He said, noting that failure points were happening consistently. I mean, hourly. So they try to get him downplay it and say, well, it's only one breach and the other breach that was reported, that's not really happening, this and that. This guy is saying he's the one really doing this. This is from the horse's mouth. He's saying there are breaches happening hourly with this retention. This shit is about to go. As I'm doing this story and you reading this, it's probably already gone. It's probably billions, hundreds of millions of gallons of radioactive waste pouring through Manatee, Florida right now as I'm doing this. It says on Friday, another leak was detected in the south contaminated area of the facility. Despite overnight work to attempt to stop this and other leaks, Manatee Director and Public Safety Jake Soar said on Saturday that the situation was escalating. And I've also read further that this problem has been going on for many years. They have been being warned about this shit, and they decided to not do nothing and let it get to the point of no return. And this is what happens when you let things get to the point of no return. In Florida, what's happening in crazy ass Florida, man, because you know, man, all the crazy people come from Florida. That's how I know something wrong with the governor and all the people who voted for him. Right? I'm not trying to bash Republicans and saying this, but man, if you voted for him, you got mental health issues. If you support this dude, if you support somebody that I know for a fact, I'm 100% certain that that man has mental health issues, then you have mental health issues. That's why you think he's normal and it's regular. At this point, man, I don't know what to tell you, man, but this is not just a Florida problem, because the next story I'm going to do is going to show you it's a reflection of who we are as a country. So make sure you catch this next video. It's going to be linked to this one. Again, I didn't want to put them together because this one is already running over. I just got so hot, but I'm riled up and I'm ready to talk politics, baby. So the next video is going to be crazy, okay? They're damn near poisoning all of us. Everything's radioactive right now. I'm telling you, man, this ain't no game. This ain't no drill. This ain't no like I'm doing this for clickbait or no shit. I'm doing this to inform you because I love you guys. And I appreciate you guys. I'm doing this for your children. I'm doing this for your future. Blessings, peace, and love to you and all that you cherish. And I'll see you in the next video.